If a man gives you just enough attention to keep you hooked, but never enough to feel secure, babe, this episode is for you. Breadcrumbing isn't mixed signals. It's a pattern. And today I'm going to explain exactly why emotionally unavailable men do this. Hi, loves. I am Kim Velez. I am a licensed trauma therapist turned transformation coach, and I have helped thousands of women, including myself, rewire their identity, heal their nervous system, and stop their attraction to emotionally unavailable men dead in its tracks. For years, I taught this work through self-effort healing, understanding patterns, regulating emotions, changing your beliefs, and we still do all of that. But what I've learned both personally and professionally is that when you partner with Jesus in this work, not as religion, definitely not as rules, but as the one who created you, he heals and transforms the parts of you that your human self-effort can't even reach. So I've done this work both ways. I've seen it unfold in women's lives both ways, and it heals faster and deeper when you're not doing it alone. And today we're talking about why emotionally unavailable men breadcrumb you and why this pattern feels so hard to break, because it's annoying. Nobody wants it, but yet you keep finding yourself attracted and drawn to it. Breadcrumbing is literal controlled connection. So it's intentional inconsistency. It's not confusion. And so many women mistake this. They're like, maybe he's confused. Maybe he's busy. No, boo. It's intentional. Breadcrumbing is when a man gives you just enough to keep access, but never enough to commit. It looks like those texts without actual plans, the interest without follow through. These are not mixed signals. It's called limited availability by design, and it is done to keep you hooked and starving and wanting more. So breadcrumbing is about keeping him comfortable. So this behavior meets his needs, not yours, babe. Breadcrumbing allows the man to feel wanted without being responsible and committed to you. He gets connection, validation, and access to you without having to do anything. And nothing is required of him because everything is uncertain for you. This is why it feels so confusing to you, because your nervous system reads hope when there is none. Breadcrumbing feels confusing because it creates hope without safety. Your system keeps waiting for the more that never comes, and that waiting is what keeps you stuck. You need to look at it like when you have a dry sponge and you give it a drop of water. Well, it's so thirsty and desperate for more water that if it thinks, oh, over here is where I get the drops of water, then it keeps going to that source for that drop of water, but it doesn't quench the thirst. It's not enough water. When over here, there might be a bucket that's overflowing and can pour tons of water into that dry sponge where the sponge can't even hold any more water, but you won't allow yourself that experience because you're so thirsty and starving and wanting that attention, wanting that affection, that you keep just going for that one little drop. That's what breadcrumbing is. So breadcrumbing targets women who wait to be chosen. And I know, because I used to be this way. And it requires your participation because someone can't breadcrumb you if you do not allow it. And breadcrumbing only works when someone stays available without being chosen. And the only reason why you stay available is because deep, deep down, babe, you don't believe you are worth receiving more. And this is what feels familiar to you. If you're waiting for him to decide, lead, or choose, breadcrumbs feel better than nothing. This isn't weakness. It's called conditioning. It's a learned behavior. It's a learned response. And it's so important that you understand that your body learned that love comes in pieces, that you don't get the full package. Your attraction is nervous system based. If love in your past was inconsistent, which we know it is because this is about painful patterns in your love life, your nervous system recognizes breadcrumbs as familiar. Small moments of closeness feel super intense, and inconsistency feels normal, even when it hurts you. This is why, even though you say, I want more, I deserve more, but you keep finding yourself lowering your value, accepting the breadcrumbs, hanging on the breadcrumbs, waiting for the next time he's going to text you, right? Waiting for him to finally ask you out. Like you're in this roller coaster because your body is used to the chemical reactions of you knowing that this is what love is for me. You don't have the love story where your nervous system recognizes safety in love. It recognizes this and says, oh, this is what we know. This is what's familiar. That's why you keep subconsciously choosing it for yourself. So breadcrumbing keeps your identity hooked. You're not attracted to him. You're attached to meaning. You really need to understand this about you because, like I said, I have worked with thousands of women. And one of the interesting things that I have seen time and time again is that the ones that were, oh, I want this one guy back. It has to be him. And I lived it too. The minute they met someone else that gave them everything they wanted and treated them where they weren't settling in any way, shape, or form, they totally were like, we don't even care about the other person. And I've seen this so many times. And this is why it's important for you to understand that you're attached to the meaning. Every breadcrumb keeps you asking, what does this mean about me? And there's this fantasy, this belief that if he just chooses me and fully commits to me, then I will know that I am good enough. It's not even about needing him to choose you so you know you're good enough. I mean, that's a layer of it. But the deeper undercurrent is you're trying to prove to yourself that you're good enough. If this guy, this one you're with now, will just finally choose you, then you'll know. It keeps your worth tied to him and his behavior. This is why it's so hard to walk away. And we need to talk about why, for those of you that have set boundaries in the past, it doesn't stop the pattern. Because you can get rid of the one that's breadcrumbing you and then 3 months later, meet another man and you find yourself in that same cycle. So you can block a man, but not a pattern. Blocking him doesn't stop the attraction to the types of men that show up in your love life this way. It just removes the trigger temporarily because he's the one that's triggering your wounds, the one that's offering you breadcrumbs in those, because you attach your worth and value and meaning of who you are based off his behavior towards you. He's triggering you constantly. So it feels more relief to just get rid of him and then you think the problem is solved. But if the identity underneath doesn't heal, the pattern returns with someone new. This is why you stay stuck in the cycle. And let's talk about self-effort and the healing and self-inner work because it's powerful, but self-reliance has limits when you're only relying on yourself to transform your thoughts, rewire your identity, move your nervous system in a new state. All those things work, but self-reliance has limits because you're relying on you constantly. There is no faith in God or Jesus. You're not allowing Jesus to work through you and actually rewire your mind and your nervous system quicker and faster and better than you could do on your own. So when you do it just self-reliance, the old way that I used to teach before I had my encounter with Jesus and understood, okay, this is real and what he did in me and what I've seen him do in other women quickly, you're limiting yourself. You're not allowing a deeper, more profound, quicker transformation without partnering with him, right? This is why I include this part in my work now because it's critical. It's so important for you to start understanding you don't got to carry the weight of this. You don't have to do this on your own. And self-reliance says, I have to do it all on my own. And that's a lie. That's part of the old trauma identity because you believe subconsciously it's not safe for you to rely or have faith in anyone or anything. So you just do it all on your own. That is trauma. Trauma sets you up to believe that wrongly. So having that self-awareness and insight doesn't always change your desire. And this is why, again, when you partner with God and Jesus, God can do a lot of things through you quicker than you can do on your own. This is why you can understand breadcrumbing. Intellectually, you're like, this guy is doing this again. I can't stand this. I'm not dealing with this. But yet you find yourself being pulled towards it again And most patterns live deeper than your logical, conscious part of your mind. So, like I said, when you invite Jesus into this work to partner in your healing, you stop trying to earn love. You stop proving your worth. And healing happens from safety, not effort. And when you allow Jesus's presence in your experience, his presence alone just starts rewiring your nervous system for what true safety is. And this is where attraction can start reorganizing. And then you will start finding yourself no longer attracted to these types of men anymore. This is golden. And I've had women who are like, I can't even believe that, Kim. And then a couple months later, they're like, oh my gosh, I get exactly what you were saying because I'm no longer attracted to that. And they feel empowered and liberated and excited because now the pattern's changing. So now they can start getting something different of what they actually want in their love life. So if you're listening to this and realizing how often you've accepted breadcrumbs, I want you to know this pattern can end. This does not have to continue on. Just because you live that way in your love life doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. And I created an amazing membership called Anchored. And it's for women who are done choosing emotionally unavailable men and ready for this attraction and this pattern to die for good. So inside Anchor, we heal the identity and nervous system patterns underneath the breadcrumbing in partnership with Jesus. So you stop wanting what can't meet you, babe, and what hurts you. So if that resonates, the details are below. It's no pressure, just an invitation. This is for the women who are done, who are ready for something different. It's a live, monthly, ongoing membership where you get all the tools and support you need. There's live coaching every month. It's a phenomenal price, and you can cancel anytime. Most women don't cancel when they come in my sphere because the work is so transformative and they get so much growth and they evolve and they just change so much in amazing ways that they stay because there's so much benefit. But if for whatever reason you're like, you know what? This is cool, but I don't really want to do this. You just cancel. It's not a big deal. So breadcrumbs aren't confusing, right? They're just enough to keep you locked in, settling, and devaluing yourself. And you can't get what you want when you keep being and accepting what you say you don't want, love. So there is a way. I would love to support you in it, and I'll see you in the next podcast.